Good afternoon, everyone. So excited. Welcome to the launch of Career Cafe. I'm Shashwati, Sasha, and I lead the inclusion efforts for Hindustan Coca-Cola. Now, have you ever wished that your burning career development questions are answered by a top leader and you ask them without any hesitation and they answer them? That's exactly what Career Cafe is all about. Career Cafe is an initiative of Next Gen, the Young Talent ERG. It's an attempt at gaining insights, advice, guidance from senior leaders so that we can develop in our careers. For our launch today, we have with us a remarkable leader who's also an inspiration to many of us. We have with us one of the most popular people in HCCB, Sunil Lobo, our Chief Commercial Officer.
Well, morning everyone, and thank you for having me here. It's my honor and my privilege to actually be here. Well, if anyone doesn't know me, I'm Sunil Lobo. I'm the Chief Commercial and Sales Officer in HCCB. I have been here for 16 long years.
Oh.
16 long years, yes. And for many of you, this is trivia in a sense that I've actually been here in two parts. I was here for 5 years first, between 2003 to 2008, and then I moved on, and the bottling business and its passion brought me back in 2013, and I've been here ever since. So that's how 16 years in the organization.
16 years, that's remarkable.
Yeah, across possibly every function, possibly every geography in the country, and I can proudly claim the second part, every geography in the country. So
Super. Okay, now Sunil, we've got a bunch of questions, and let me tell you, these are questions that have come from a young talent, which is the millennials and the Gen Zs. By millennials, I mean people who were born after 81. And by Gen Z, I mean people who were born after 96.
yeah.
So they've come from that. These are not...
You're trying to tell me I'm old. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't know, sorry. That's not the intention. But when you use the word, sometimes it's not very clear who's a millennial, who's a Gen Z. So these are their questions we've collected. And today I'm here just asking them on their behalf.
Sure.
So the first one. Sunil, we couldn't help but notice that your WhatsApp status says born to gamble, post to work. How does this help you climb the corporate ladder?
Look, when WhatsApp actually came in, I think that would have been what, 10 years back?
Yeah.
I'm saying 10, 12 years back. It was fun when I put born to gamble, post to work. And it was unique and creative, because no one would have ever seen something on a WhatsApp status like that. And I used to get a lot of people used to make a lot of fun of me. And well, there is a little backstory to this, but the reality of the matter is that all who know me, and there would be a few who know me, okay, I do love to gamble, but gamble in the right way, in the right spirit, and probably in the most legal way. My dream had always to be like a Negrano. I don't know how many of you know Negrano. He's the top poker player in the world, and everyone invests on him. So there was always a dream of being that kind of a person. But well, if I was not working, I would surely be a poker player, that is for sure. So that's where the born to gamble, forced to work is. Has it helped me in my career? Look, I've always been a risk taker, and those who work with me will know that I always live off the edge. I do, but as you grow and as you get some experience in life, you start taking balanced calls and judgment calls, which can be risky, but you know which way it will fall, and so you're taking a known call. And that's always been the way I work. When I started off my career, I've taken a lot of gambles. Let me tell you, yes, I did start off as a management trainee. I did have a few privileges in the beginning, but it all goes away when you really have to prove yourself. And I have taken a few gambles, and the biggest one I took was when very early in my career, I decided to go to Bihar to work. Now, not many of you know the Bihar 20 years back. And I moved at a time when it was a very difficult period and I was in sales and I used to travel the length and breadth of that country. I called it a country, sorry. But length and breadth of Bihar and Jharkhand.
It is a country.
It is a country.
I think most states in India are a country in itself.
Yeah. And it was very difficult. Difficult for me from the language point of view. Difficult for me from the... I lived in a very privileged setup in Mumbai. So I had not really seen the back and beyond of India. And it was a big risk that I took. If I would have failed so early in my life when I went there, it would have been a problem. But that gamble paid off like crazy, because the next time anyone who looked at me then and anyone who saw my profile then used to be shocked, and they used to ask me, "You spent 2 years in Bihar?" Remember, I was just 25, 26 years old then. "So you spent 2 years in Bihar?" "Yeah, 2 years in Bihar? You actually lived there?" And then they realized that, okay, if this guy has done Bihar, then he can do anything in this country. And from there on, I realized you've got to take those risks. You've got to not gamble. The word gamble sounds very, superfluous. Yes. But the reality is you've got to take those risks. You've got to understand and read the corners in the room. And then on, I moved. And I moved from one place to the other to the other. I worked across Bihar, Orissa, the entire East. I worked across Nasik, Pune, Ahmedabad, the Gujarats, the West. Then I came to the South. So these are all risks you take, because the risk you take is also about family. I mean, my daughter has changed 7 schools in the first 7 years of her life. My family had to be uprooted every time I moved from one place to the other. I've lived in more than 14 cities and changed 26 homes in my life. So these are all risks that you take.
I was just going to ask you that, Sunil. When you said, it's a gamble or it's a risk, in my head, I was like, the company sends you there. How is it a risk then? You answered it.
Yeah, it's a career, right? You go there, and if you don't do well, at the end of the day, then you have very few fallback options, because you moved away. And then to come back and not prove. But the risk is also positive, because when you take these, you don't take it just like that, right? You take it with a promotion, with a better salary, and a better quality of life for your family. Right. So you live in better houses every time you move. So there's positive and negative to it. But the important thing is you should be able to take the right judgment, a balanced call, looking at your professional and your personal life. That's the difference.
Got it.
And that's why Born to
Actually,
Gamble
there is a question on your stint in Bihar. I was going to ask it later, but then I'll just bring it here. So you were in Bihar as an ASM, and we got to know that you didn't speak much of Hindi then.
No, I didn't.
So what are some of the barriers you faced? How did you overcome?
Look,
the talent wants to know.
Look, the barriers I faced was, first is, I was pretty young when I went there, and we had a lot of union problems, and it was not easy to face the union. So when someone looked at me, and I mean, I say this with a lot of shyness, but I was very baby-faced, and so no one really took me seriously at that point of time. So they really thought, what will this guy handle? The business, and I was under tremendous pressure. Second was that yes, my Hindi was bad, लेकिन आज मैं बहुत अच्छा हिंदी बोलता हूँ. So don't think that I don't speak Hindi. I have learned over the last many years. But yeah, so third was the real travel. It was not easy. There were robberies, there were this, you couldn't travel after 6 o'clock. There was a place in Jainabad one day when I went to the distributor, and the distributor told the senior officer who was with me, and he said, "Saab ko leke jana." So I said, "नहीं, अभी तो market जाना है. अभी तो बस 4:30 बज गया शाम को और मुझे market जाना है." So then they smiled, and he said, "नहीं, you take him off, because at 6 o'clock in the evening, it's dangerous. You cannot travel over here. Someone might just pick him up and get him married." So that was the kind of, stories. I used to look and I say, "What? ये क्या है? Where am I come?" So there were challenges, but as I said, you've got to risk it. You've got to work hard. You've got to think of your family. You've got to think of the future. If you're ambitious, if you're career oriented, if you have your goals in place, I think these are small stumbling blocks. Today, I speak about it with pride. I speak about it with joy. I speak about it as my experience, which has made me what I am today. So these risks, whether it was Bihar, whether it was Northeast, whether it was Nepal, which was pretty bad at that point of time, Jharkhand, I think all had its challenges, but they also had the good times. The people of Bihar were the most beautiful and wonderful people I've worked with. they actually after 6 to 8 months started taking care of me. They actually were mothering me in many ways and telling me what to do, what not to do from a social and security point of view, while I was giving them my business inputs. And it became a super combination.
I think we need to hear this, and we need to hear this often, because a lot of times when we are told that, you're getting a new geography, we become very uncomfortable. And it's not that it's some whim. It is actually very uneasy when we are told you have to go to one corner and, it's not easy to find houses, there's not proper travel. It is a real challenge for a lot of us.
Sasha, that's where I say born to gamble, forced to work is something that I've lived by, because you've got to take that risk you've got to decide and take that judgment call whether what I'm going to do is going to help me in the long term or not.
Term. Correct.
That's the thing. And if it's not a bad choice. But then you've got to live with the consequences.
Sure.
That's the important thing.
Thank you so much for that. Coming to the next question. And when we are going through all of this, right, it's a lot of chaos, confusion. We don't know what's happening. Where is our career going? On this note, someone's asking, Sunil, what do we do if our manager is not providing us with the guidance and mentoring that is required?
Look, how do I say this? I should have actually seen what they were asking. It would have been easy for me to answer. But
okay, let me share this trivia. So we'd collected the questions, I put it down on a document and I shared it with Sunil. I said, Sunil, would you like to look at it? He says, no, I wouldn't. I want to hear it then and I want to give impromptu answers. So that's where it's coming from.
No, so I'll tell you one thing, okay? The Gen Z, right? This is Gen
Millennials
and Gen Z. Okay, I want to start by telling you that your manager is not listening to you, not giving you career guidance. Most of you have never gone to school and had your teacher giving you a slap across your face. It's not warranted in today's day and age, right? We are moving the Western way of life. When we went to school, and I'll tell you, the WhatsApp groups that we have of when we passed out. Today, we remember those professors who whacked us in school. We remember that principal, that priest who used to take the cane and hit us. And we had to kneel down and all that stuff. Okay. That was the first part of guidance and career counseling that we actually received. Why I say that? I say that because we lived a very little different life from what you lead today. We didn't wait for people to come to us to tell us what to do. We had to do it ourselves. Many of us, and I can tell you many of us, we would have probably ironed our own clothes in the morning and gone to school. Okay, we would have made our own breakfast and gone to school. And when we went to school, if we didn't do our homework, we had to, and if there was a remark on our calendar, we had to answer to all that. The point I'm trying to make to you is proactiveness. We were the ones who had to do it. Yes, I'm not saying we from that point of view that, because at one point of time when I joined my career, I used to look at the older people and say, kya zindagi hai, in log kya aisa bolte hai, life is so different. Same thing how y'all must be saying. Okay, but I want to give you a perspective. Career guidance and counseling, you've got to reach out to your managers. They don't need to come to you and tell you every time what to do. You have to reach out to them and tell them, look, this is the career path I want to take. This is what I want to do. This is why I need your help. You have to give me 5 minutes of your time. You are pushy for everything, no? On Instagram, this, that, social media. Be pushy with your bosses. Go and tell them, sit with me. I need 5 minutes. I need 10 minutes. I need to do this. I need to do that. You've got to start going and telling them that this is what I want. Now, if you're not getting it, then find your way out. Today, at this age, you have so many options in life. You've got to decide how I can move one rung and move above my manager and tell him that, listen, you're not giving me the advice that I want. You're not giving me the counseling that I want. Can I speak to your boss? You are meant for that. No, today you are bold. You are ambitious. You are career oriented. This is what you have come up with in the new, the millennials and the Gen Zs are just like that. That's what they do. They push their way through. Then push your way through here also. And finally, if someone's not giving you the right, then move out. Find yourself another career option. Please, I know you might be thinking, why am I saying this? But I'm saying this in all honesty. You can't be stuck in a rut. This world is very big. It has many, many options. But take the balanced call, the right judgment, take the right risks. But do not ever stop communicating. Career guidance and counseling will not come from your manager only. It is a two-way street. you have to go and ask them. So please be pushy about it. Please be, I wouldn't say pushy. I would say please be assertive about it.
Persistent.
And do it in a nice and genial, cordial manner, and it will happen. You will get the advice.
Sure. Thank you so much. Whoever asked this question, I really hope you can persist, you can be pushy, and you get the guidance and the mentorship that you're looking for. Oh, the next one sounds interesting. Sunil, how to deal with office politics? Do you believe it happens, and how do you navigate it?
Politics is a loosely used word. I mean, does it happen? It could happen. I mean, again, it's loosely used, right? So you can say this is politics. Someone will tell you, oh, this is natural. But, you know, I would put people into 3 categories, like movies in India. Okay, in India, you have movies like, what the 3 Idiots. I don't see a single person who has not liked that movie.
Correct.
Okay. Then you see movies like, sorry to say, but Lal Badshah. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. I don't think anyone would have ever liked that movie. Okay. And then there is that rung, those movies which are in the middle section. Some like them, some don't like them. Okay. Office is like that. And people are like that, sorry. There is that rung of people who are so confident, so good, so polished in what they do. They don't need to even involve themselves in side gossips and conversations, which you would call politics, because they don't need it. They are the Tendulkars and Dhonis of the world. They don't need it. They don't need to engage in all this. They are so good that they will be found out because of their work. Then there are those who are so bad, like the Lal Badshah movie, okay, that they will also be found out. And everyone knows that they are not up to it and action will be taken. But then there are those people in the middle, the belly, who are good, bad, okay, but sometimes insecure. And that's where the politics happens, the word politics that you use.
Correct.
Look, it's a personal choice. You want to get into that rut every day and get involved with that, make yourself a victim, you know, or try to make someone else a victim, feel sorry for somebody else, show sympathy. Empathy, I understand, but show sympathy. But actually, it's not about sympathy. It's about trying to get everyone together to have some side conversations and gossips. If it is for fun, it's fine. It happens everywhere.
Okay.
But if it's going to ruin people's careers because you're talking things about people or the organization or functions or departments, you are old enough to understand you don't need to do that. Because if you do it today, it'll become your body of work and a way of your life. And after 4-5 years or earlier, you will suffer because you have got into that rut. So you are young. As I told you, if you feel that you're not in a space where you should be, look out. The world is an ocean. There are so many opportunities. But please don't fall into this rut of politics. It's a human nature. I have done it myself and I'm telling you from my experience. You think when I was young, I didn't engage in all this? Of course I did. Side talks, ye sala aisa hai, wo aisa hai, mera boss ye hai, wo hai. I've done it. I'm telling you, I've done it. And later on, I realized that I was a fool. Because while I'm speaking about 10 people, as I keep growing the ladder, 20 people must be talking about me.
Correct.
Each one of us has to show character. Today, you are what you would want to be the same, no, after a few years. You would want everything under you to go well. But if you know people are playing politics and talking this and that, you will feel disappointed. True. The point I'm making is that it's a personal thing. It's a thing about maturity. You have to have the right growth behaviors. Be curious. Show progress over perfection. Act like an owner. Then you will not engage into all this. And if you are, slowly you will get out of it.
You'll move over.
Have that fun. Few things, social times. Crib about your boss. Bitch about your boss. Say this, say that. But in a group which is so close to each other, that it's not politics, but it's fun.
It's light-hearted, it's fun, you don't carry the baggage maybe, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You think I don't do this about JP today also? You ask JP. I make fun of JP a lot. I mean, I make fun of him a lot. But then he trusts me. He knows that I'm not going to go behind his back. Correct. I mean, and most of the things I say it onto his face. Do that. Get into that mode. I know it takes time. It takes experience. It takes confidence. But hence, you have to be in those percentile of people who are so sure and confident of themselves that you don't have to engage in these gossips.
So gossip sometimes it's okay. We also need it as humans because
but not politics. I agree with you.
Not when it is in the negative side. Okay. Oh, this is nice. What advice do you have for a person who started their career with HCCB but now feels there is no visibility in the organization?
Look, it goes back to the first point. No, you go to your boss, speak to them and tell them, look, I started my career. I'm not seeing the visibility. I'm not seeing the runway. I'm not seeing the career path. Have the honest conversation today, because that honest conversation will tell you two things. It will tell you that, look, you're right. Your performances have been good. I think we've just not looked at you probably because you were not visible enough, or probably your previous manager did not portray you that way, or maybe even I have, as your current manager, I have not portrayed you like that. Or it could be the other way. Boss, you're asking for so many things, but let's look at your performance. Let's look at what you've done. Let's look at your growth behaviors and let's talk about it. Okay, so there'll be two types of conversations.
Correct.
Now, if you are, again, it depends on you. If you're happy with the conversation and you want to improve yourself, if it's a little bit of a negative conversation, then start working on it and improve yourself. If you believe that, yes, I did everything right, my manager is saying everything right, then please do something for me. And if you cannot, don't get me wrong again when I keep saying this, but the world is an ocean. Okay, if you are good and you know you're good, you will be found out as good, whether in this organization or in some other organization or in an entrepreneurial state that you want to go into. Okay, do not worry about all this. I know these questions are very genuine when you ask them, because I have asked these questions when I was young. Okay, because I wanted to get better. I wanted to know, look, there was a time in HCCB, even I felt the same. I mean, there was no visibility and I'm doing my best, but everyone's moving ahead of me. I felt all that. Okay, what did I do? I have done everything wrong. And I don't want you to do anything wrong like that. And hence I'm saying I realize the best solution to it is go and confront your manager.
One wrong thing you did.
I've done many wrong things. Don't even ask. I can tell you.
Broach that subject. Okay.
I quit the company. Come on. What more can you ask for? I had a lovely career when I was here between 2003 to 2008. And then I moved on. I think that is the biggest mistake I made. Today, I've said this many times before. I will be the most unhappy person in this world if my career does not end with Coke. I would, and I mean, that also binds me. Making a big statement like this binds me to the fact that, people listening to this might say that, oh, now he's not going to leave, so we can do whatever we want to do with him. Yes, you can, because I love this company. I am so passionate about this brand. I love the people I work with. The biggest mistake I've made was to quit this company because I didn't have the courage to go and speak to my managers. If I would have gone and spoken to my boss at that point of time, because the same boss whom I did not speak to is the same boss who wanted me to come back and followed me for 2 years to come back. And I was such a fool. If I had gone and spoken then and told them what I am feeling and why am I going, life would have been different for me today.
I think a lot of time it's our own inhibitions, our own perceptions,
our own insecurities.
So I think this also ties back to what you were saying. Push, it's your career. It's in our hands. Yeah. We need to ask.
Of course.
And if you're not there yet, work hard to get there. Yeah. Where our manager feels okay.
Yeah.
They are now there and can be visible. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that. Oh, I like this one. Sunil, tell us about your success story. We want to know about your backstory that no one knows about, your struggles.
Look, my life is an open book, okay? And I know many of you won't know, but the rest of the organization, everyone knows about me. I mean, I'm the kind of a guy who you can read. I mean, I tell my stories everywhere. I love to talk. But my struggle, you asked struggle?
Yeah, they said.
Look.
So they're asking, we want to know about your backstory. Some things that no one knows about.
Everyone knows everything about me. Let me be honest with you. Okay, that's what I say. But for this group, I've been privileged. Okay, I lived my life. I'm born and brought up in Bombay, and I lived in a place called Bandra, and I keep repeating this everywhere. I was privileged. We come from a very poor family, but never in my life have I ever felt that I was poor, because I lived across an environment where I could have anything that I wanted, even without money, because that's the city of dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was privileged. So struggle, after roaming the country, 1.5 billion population, I would probably be in that privileged 0.5% of that population, so I cannot complain. But in the professional life struggle, yes, of course there has been struggles. It started right from my management training days when I was thrown from Bandra straight into the rural markets of Karnataka, which is Sedam and in Gulbarga, district in the Taluka Salem. And I had slept 3 nights in a van because there were no hotels there. I used to get a princely allowance as a management trainee of 400 rupees and the hotel cost was 50 rupees. And I couldn't live in that hotel, so I stayed in the van. And then I had bath in the fields, and you can know where I went to relieve myself. And, all those days, those were struggles because I used to travel 26 days a month. My boss told me, if you want to be the guy you want to be, my boss was a 45-year-old guy whom I used to abuse every morning because I thought that Ash didn't understand life. Things have changed. I am the next generation and he's telling me to work in the market for 26 days in a month and travel in the night by the red color bus and throw a handkerchief to find a seat. Is he mad? I'm a management trainee. I'm come from I had all those inhibitions, right? That boss of mine today is my best friend. He's still my mentor, my guide, my advisor. In fact, we take advice from each other. When he comes to Bangalore, he lives in my house. But the point I'm making is that those were struggles. 26 days a month on the road were struggles for a guy like me. Eating food only at the bus stands. Eating food with that kind of an oil. Those were struggles. But that's all I can talk about. The rest of my life has not really been struggle. It's fun. I love people. I've enjoyed my life. People have taken care of me. It depends on your perspective. You want to call it a struggle, you want to call it an experience, or you want to call it an opportunity. You are the young guys. You have to decide what it is. For me, yes, it was a little bit of a struggle then. It turned out into an opportunity because I realized I have an opportunity to be better than my peers who would be facing the same situation, and many of them are going to give up. I'm not going to give up. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't give up. I became the best management trainee. I got promoted faster. Things worked out for you. And that's the perspective you need to have. If you want to reach the top, there's no eureka moments. Not everyone is Steve Jobs. You will not bite one apple and throw it and say, okay, I'll call myself Apple. It happens to very few people. The rest of all will struggle. Now you call that a struggle, opportunity, it all depends on you.
I was just thinking that, Sunil, when I was listening to you, and ever since you walked in, I think almost every sentence or every other sentence has been, I'm blessed, I'm privileged, I've got a lot of love. So all I see is, you see it as things that are happening for you. You see it as something that is grace. It sounds as if you're very, very grateful to things that you got. So even now when you're talking about your story, you're saying, it's the perspective. You want to call it a struggle or you want to call it an opportunity. I think that's the change, that's the difference, that's what differentiates you. You saw everything as an opportunity. You saw it as a grace.
Look, earlier in my life, I wouldn't have felt like that, to be honest with you. Okay, and I know many of you on this call won't feel that immediately. But as you grow, I can guarantee you, it becomes the perspective. Why do I say I'm blessed? Let me ask, I know I'll give you the answer to the question also. How many people in this organization want to be in my seat? I can tell you 99%.
Yes.
Okay. So how can I not be privileged and blessed to be sitting over here? What different have I done from my peers to be here? And I'll tell you, I keep joking. We were around 20 of us who were just like me. Okay. Today I am sitting in this seat. I am not sitting here because I was better than them. They were the more intelligent guys, much smarter guys, better communication skills, better people management skills. The only reason I'm sitting here is because 19 of them quit. I was the last man standing, so I got this job. Okay. And that's why I'm blessed. I'm privileged. Whatever has happened to me in my life, look at my family, look at my friends. I say so with pride, not out of arrogance, that I'm loved in this organization. I say it with pride.
Oh, you are?
You have to be blessed for that. It's God's grace. It's all my friends, people, family. If I know that if anything happens to me, a small thing, I'll have 100 people who will come and ask me. Not because I'm sitting in the seat. Because they are my friends. And how will I say I'm not blessed? What?
Thank you. That's really lovely. And I think that's something that we all can learn from you.
You learn. Y'all will, at least on the call, they will learn. As time passes by and they grow, they will learn. They are still young, right? So they will learn.
Okay, the next question is, and I think this ties, but I'll ask because it's coming from our audience. How to grow as a leader in HCCB? How to succeed here? How do I become from being a contributor to an enabler of business?
Oh, it's very easy. This is the easiest answer I have for anybody. I'm telling you. Okay, you have to first embrace the growth behaviors. Okay, because functional skill over a period of time everyone will have.
Correct.
Okay. Now, what growth behaviors? You have to be curious. Okay. You always have to have your ear on the ground to understand what people are saying. You have to understand and ask questions every day. Curious. Okay. You have to act like an owner. Think this is your own house. You may not own that house, but it's your own house. Your parents still own that house. Your grandparents still own that house, but it's still your own house. Act like an owner. Okay. Always believe that it's progress over perfection. You cannot be perfect. You are not perfect individuals. Even Sachin Tendulkar was not perfect. Okay. You will always find some anomalies. Keep working on that. Keep progressing on that. Okay. And embrace everyone around you. Embrace the diverse situations that are there in this world. Embrace the people who are there, different kinds of people. Bring them all into your own mold. You slowly will start realizing that I start as an individual contributor,
right,
and then you start enabling a system. There is no rocket science to this. It's a matter of progression. As you keep growing in this organization, you will start enabling. And you don't only enable by work. Please remember this. Half my life, probably I am blessed and privileged, but the other half of it is that I have been able to enable an organization not through only my functional skills. There are 200 people who are brighter than me, 200 people who know the commercial business better than me, but I say this with pride that I have always worked at enabling an organization, not my own function. So you have to go out of your way to find ways to help when you're in a department, to help your function, when you're heading a function, to help the organization, and when you're heading the organization, to help the ecosystem around you. Always think one step ahead. How can I help? And that's when you'll start enabling.
But Sunil, this is so true, and thanks for sharing that. But how does it come? Because initially it's like, I need to do well because it's my KPIs, WTMMs, that's how I'll be rated. And then it becomes my team, my function. Then how does this shift happen? Because competition is there. Only one person or two people will get the higher rating. So there is definitely that. And then there is the function. And these are realities.
So
what you're saying is correct, and that's the ideal, but these are the realities. How does that switch happen?
So the switch happens with experience. That shift happens when the competition becomes better. Two ways of the shift happening. For example, you rightly said there will be 2 people, 3 people all working very hard, but the rating can go to 1%. But remember, if all 3 people are good, and you have been able to raise the bar in that function, okay, even the person who does not get that rating will get an opportunity in the medium term. So that's where it comes with experience, okay, that you're good, but you also have to have that experience, and you should have the knowledge to wait. Second thing is that when your function does well, when the business does well, it expands. So the business expands and the opportunities come in. And that's when you do well. Now I'll give you an example of the second part, which is the opportunities. Okay, this is one of those few organizations, very few organizations, and I can tell you, hardly any organization can prove in FMCG space. Because in HCCB, you can spend every 2 years of your life in a different role, which is not possible in most FMCGs. If you look at career progression in most FMCGs, you will be a sales officer, then you'll be an ASM, you'll be a regional manager, then you'll become head of sales. And they don't have so many functions like we have, like capability, like channel, like digital, like insights, like revenue growth management, like route to market, like this, that. So they don't have that. We have that. Yep. So therefore, you can keep moving from individual contributor to enabling an organization because the organization offers you that many opportunities. So you don't get stuck in one role forever. You are there for maximum 2 years. At least in the commercial function, I'll tell you. You show me somebody who's been in a role for more than 2 or 3 years. Okay. And let's have that conversation. You'll not find that. That person will move every 2 or 3 years because there are opportunities. Then you don't have to worry about, oh, there were 5 of us who are good, only 2 people got the rating. No, the other 3 will also get an opportunity to move to another function and move to a bigger role. That's the reality of HCCB. So it's not only about us, it's the organization ecosystem is so good. You have so many opportunities over here. So all of you, don't worry. All your questions will get answered with time. All you need to do is keep having that perseverance and your career goals and ambitions in place. If you don't have that, then you work towards that first. What do I actually want in my life? And you'll get it over here.
So I think we also need to understand that some things only happen with time. So
Yes.
we need to be patient.
Yes. Yes. You can't have everything in a day. If you want to have all that and become an entrepreneur, I can tell you that. Because you have the option there.
Right. So I think we do need a little bit of more patience.
Of course.
Even to gain wisdom, I think we'll need to bide some time. Need to have those experiences.
Yeah. Today the patience levels are lower because when we were studying for our exams to do management college, I mean, every time we read a word and we didn't know, we had to go to the dictionary to figure out what the word. Today you're sitting over there, instantly Google will tell you the meaning of the word. AI will give you an answer. So patience levels are becoming lesser. But in career, but remember, everyone is doing the same thing, right? Yes. So everyone has the same opportunities that you have. So you still need to have the experience and the patience.
Okay. So we'll move to the next segment, which is the career compass segment.
Okay.
Here we have people asking very specific questions about their careers. The first one, Sunil, I have been 1 year, 3 months in HCCB now. I want to do my MBA next. Is it good that I take a break for 2 years, do my MBA, or should I do an exec MBA?
God, this is the toughest question in the world, and I'll tell you why. Because I faced this same problem. Today my daughter is facing the same problem. And now you're asking me the same question. And honestly, there are different answers to it. So when I had the same problem because I had to work, my mother was forcing me, when you'll start working, and when I told her I want to study for 2 more years, she nearly had a mini heart attack. Okay, and I had to work for 2 years. I worked with Citibank for 2 years, and I struggled because I was working in a shift from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., which never got over at 4 p.m. It got over at 8 p.m. I had to come home. My mother would make a flask of tea for me. I would go and sleep for 2 hours. I used to wake up and study the whole night because I had to prepare for the examinations, and then go to work at 7 a.m. again. And after 6 to 8 months, they wanted to sack me because I was doing some data entry job, and every day I made the maximum mistakes because I was half asleep. I struggled. I had to take the decision. Should I quit this and go full time into studies and give my examinations? Okay. I couldn't have the opportunity. So I took the risk, and it worked for me. And it worked for me in first attempt. So I was lucky again, blessed. Okay. For my daughter, she has more opportunities today. She doesn't have to worry about, thanks, for this graces, that she doesn't have to worry about working today to feed the family. She's completed her graduation, and she herself doesn't know what she wants to do. I want her to study.
Yeah.
She has decided I want to study. Okay. But at the same time, the question is, should she keep doing some internships or a job for 1 year, get the experience, and then do her MBA? Or do an executive MBA after working for 4-5 years, try to do it from an ISB or something? There's no right or wrong answer to this. Sorry for the person who's asking this question. There's no right or wrong answer to this, because I've seen this in my generation. I'm seeing this in my daughter's generation. You're asking a very valid question. You have to do it based on, one is your economic situation at home.
Okay.
The second is based on whether you're willing to spend another 1 or 2 years gaining the experience. I think that's the right thing. I would say work for 2 years, then do your management.
Okay.
Okay. But if you have the ability, then work for 2 years, study for your management, go for classes on the weekend. Okay. If you don't get it on first attempt, you'll still get it on second attempt, because God watches. If you put in effort, you will get the results for sure. But you've got to be sure about what you want to do. So no right or wrong answer. My recommendation is work and study. And then when the time comes, if you don't make it on your first attempt, 6 months before your CAT exams or your MBA entrance exams, quit your job and give it 10 hours a day. 200% you'll make it.
Agree. I think I agree. there is no right answer, but you know, having done management, I think it just helps if you have some context of how the workplace is.
I think I mean, these are life examples I'm giving you. One is my daughter and one is me. So,
okay, thank you. The next question. Sunil, you have been a full salesperson in the organization. And if I look at a typical trajectory of a sales leader here, they have been also in sales and they've grown in sales. How do you suggest that someone who has a sizable career in a non-sales function jumps into sales?
Firstly is that there's no such thing as sales and non-sales. Over a period of time, it turns out to be general management. It's a fact. You won't realize it today. Today, you will think it's compartmentalized. It's not. Me being a salesperson, I've not done only sales. I've done a lot of commercial roles. I've done the trade marketing roles. I've done the modern trade roles. I've done the commercial roles. I've done the strategy roles. I've done revenue growth management roles. So it's not about only sales. Because over a period of time, the sales stops and you start moving into different trajectories. So that's the first thing you have to understand. The second thing is that let me give a reverse answer to this. My interest actually always lay in HR. So I always wanted to be in the HR function and I wanted to be the CHRO.
Okay.
So every year in my backup option, I would put HR. And my boss would come and slap me on the head and say, Sala pagal hai tu yehi kar sakta hai, tu HR nahi kar payega. I used to say, Arey, my interests lie over there, I will this. Now, there was a time when I actually wanted to do the commercial HR role over here. The role which Swati does now, a few years back. And I was willing to take a step back.
Got it.
In grade, in this, only to do what I wanted to do. But obviously, I am where I am because they didn't allow me, which is okay, it worked out well. But if you want to move a department, okay, you have to also sacrifice certain things like a short-term 1 or 2 year spike in your career in terms of promotion and all, because imagine you're a non-sales person and you want to come into sales. Which manager will take you without experience? So then you may have to do a parallel job. Now you may say, okay, I'm a grade X. You take me in that grade into sales. They'll not take you. They'll say, you've never worked in sales. You don't know. It's not about the skill. It's about the people. Sales has a lot to understand in the way people are in terms of the language, the customs they have, the retailers, the consumer profiling, all that you have to understand. So it is going to take you time. So you have to have the ability to go a little bit flat in your career for 2 or 3 years if you want to take the long leap into another function. So have that patience and perseverance. It's not difficult. Okay. So it's not difficult.
This almost sounds like what you're saying about money. You should have the long-term view of where you want to be. Have the patience. Because if you want to do a jump, obviously I can't get a promotion or say maybe I have to start a little lower because I need to get the knowledge.
Yes. But you'll have the opportunities. If that's your question in HCCB, you'll have the opportunities. Nobody can stop you.
So all the best to your sales career. And if you're jumping from the non-sales function, all the best to you. Okay, the next one. This sounds interesting. Sunil, I have recently joined HCCB. I have not got the role I applied for. So now I'm doing something in which I don't have expertise and I'm not even interested in it. How should I plan my career for a role I am interested in and can thrive? Now, please don't say IJP.
Oh, I won't say IJP, but what I'll tell you is that don't waste your time. My suggestion to you is, this is very personal question and I appreciate it. Don't waste your time. Go to HR. Go to your respective boss, speak the truth and tell them what it is. If you do not get the right answer, try to go one level ahead and try to get a conversation if you're serious about the question you're asking because it's your career online. I would also appreciate, because it's such a personal question, if you need help, please come to me. Okay, my EA is Jyoti and she is super helpful. She'll find you 5 minutes of your time. At the end of the day, if you don't get the right answer, this is not the place for you. Go and find something that you love to do, something which you have the instincts for. You will find a career probably in another department or another organization. Don't waste your time. because this is my advice to you. It's a very personal question and I'm glad you asked it because you have the courage to ask it. Okay, do not waste your time. Take those action steps, what I told you right now. Today, go to your manager. Today, go to your HR. If you're not getting the right answer, come to me. If you don't get the right answer from me, don't waste your time in the organization. Find your own career path.
Thank you, Sunil. I think it'll mean so much to whoever is asking us. Now, let's dive into our final segment. It is more on work and wellness. The question is, Sunil, the leader that you are and at the level you are at, how do you manage personal and professional life at Coke?
It gets to me sometimes. I won't deny that. It gets to me when I travel a lot even now. At least 2 nights a week I'm out. And I live in Koramangala, but I come to Hebbal. So even when I'm in office, it's like 1.5 hours for me each way. But I've learned a few things along the way. One of those is to take short breaks. Okay. Take those 2-3 days when there is a holiday, you know, and take your family out, move out somewhere, enjoy. That is one of the things. The second thing I do is I take my entire Christmas vacation. Say, I give the full world leave till 15th of December. 15th of December, jisko leave chahiye, le lo please. 15th December onwards, I'm off to Mumbai every year for Christmas. Okay, to be with my family and my friends and enjoy myself and do everything all you 20 plus guys do. And I can do it better than you, I promise you. Okay, and and in the middle, I find those breaks. The third thing is, I proudly say so, and I show off like crazy that I'm a great sportsman and I'm a show off over here. Okay, I very rarely seen someone at my age who can play all the sports that I play and can beat me at it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm arrogant here, but it is how it is. And I find time to play. So I find time to play in the mornings. If I can, at least 2 days a week. And I ensure on the weekends I get a game of badminton or tennis. And I keep myself a bit competitive there. I love socializing. So my weekends, you'll find me partying for sure. With family, with friends. Mostly with family and friends, because I've been able to mix that, because I don't have enough time only for family or enough time for friends. So I manage my social life well. Okay. So it's all about managing things. Now this thing is not about experience. Okay, I've been doing this since the time I started. So it is not I learned over a period of time, I got experienced in it and now, you know, I'm managing. No, I am like that. I balance my life superbly. I have no issues only. If someone tells me work-life balance, I say, what work-life balance is? My life is superb. I don't need any work-life, and this is my balance. So it can get tough sometimes. It's a struggle only because of my travel times and the amount of time I spend in flights and traveling. But otherwise, it's a super life. I'm telling you, guys, work hard, come into my position. You'll love life. Everything is good.
But till we come to your position, you are saying what we could do is take those short breaks.
Yeah, you should take those short breaks. I mean, come on, you know how to take those short breaks. And during our times, we didn't even know. To plan one holiday to go to Coorg used to be like planning like, you know, we are going to Scandinavian countries. Today, you can go anywhere across the world. I've seen Gautam, no, who works with me. Yeah. He's I don't know if he's on this call. He's there. But see Gautam, how he manages. He comes and he manages itineraries with his wife and they go all around the world. You know, planning everything in a day. You can easily plan and go. If you really want to do it, just enjoy yourselves, guys.
So work hard, definitely we have to, because we love working, most of us, and we need to put in that much of work. Yeah. But to manage our sanity or whatever you call it, I think take a break.
Yeah, take your breaks. Take your breaks. Do
take
your yoga.
Short breaks throughout the year, and then in the end of the year, take a longer break probably, and do what you love doing.
Yeah. So you know, one of the things when we were young, people used to say, go for a walk, do yoga, do meditation. I used to laugh. I said, Sala, yoga or meditation kaun karta hai? Matlab buddhe karte hai. Okay, that is what I used to think. But as I started growing, I realized, boss, even at this young age, if you can do yoga and meditation, there is nothing better than that. Trust me. I still don't know how to do it, but I can't sit in one place and, you know, do all that. And I can do those exercises. But I'm telling you, if you don't do it, do it. It's really good. It's really good.
Okay. There's also another bit here, and they said, Sunil, we've heard so much that you say you are good at sports. And
I'm very good at sports.
But the thing that they want to ask is, Sunil, we've never seen you play. No one's ever seen you play.
Come to Koramangala, watch me playing, have some tournament over here, and then you see me playing. I'm really good at sports. And all you 20 somethings, you all should come and play with me. Please challenge me.
I think whoever put that question in one of the weekends, let's go to Kormangla and actually see Sunil play.
No. Play with me. Don't
play
see.
with
you will have to pay to see me playing. You play with
Which
me.
game is that?
I can play any sport. Badminton, table tennis. I'm decent at cricket.
Okay.
I'm a good hockey player. And I have not played hockey for a long time. Okay, basketball. Tell me the sport I'll play. Squash. Okay,
So
except golf and chess, because I don't consider those as sports.
Okay, so let's keep a note of it and hold him to it, and we will land in whichever sports complex you're playing, and we'll play. Okay, great. The last question that has come is, Sunil, there are so many not so sunny days in our personal lives, in our organizations. How do we manage our physical and mental well-being in that time?
Look, it's tough. Again, when I say all that I've said previously, meditation, yoga, superb. Spending time by yourself, superb. I don't know how many of you are spiritual and religious, but I am super religious. And I pray a lot. I pray like crazy. Okay, and I proudly say that I carry my rosary with me wherever I go. And every time I see myself in difficult situations, and I find myself in many difficult situations, especially in the job that I am today, and I pray. So whenever you feel that you're down, pray, meditate. Okay, speak to your best friends, pour your heart out to them, develop that one group of friends who you listen to, because it's a two-way street, and you can speak to whenever you want to. Okay? Be close to your family. For those who are not married, it's friends. Otherwise, it's friends and family. Okay? Difficult situations are going to come, and in your personal life, 200% it will come. I have seen it. I have seen sickness in family. I have seen my parents. I have seen around. You will find all this. It's going to happen. Don't think that you are away from all this. It's going to come in your work life. It's going to come in your personal life. The way to get it done is, look, time is a big healer. But till the time heals, you need family, you need friends, and you need God. Please remember that in your lives. I mean, this is complete Buddha type advice, but take it, because this Buddha is telling you, this has made him successful, at least till today. I don't know what is going to come in my life going ahead. I don't know. Whether it's in my job, I don't know. Whether it's my personal life, I don't know. But I know one thing is that this will keep you going.
Thanks for the wonderful insights. These were the questions that came in before. We have some live questions that have come in, and I've just got a few. Here's one. Sunil, how would you rate one's performance? Aspects like individual's attitude, job, end results, presentation skills. How do you rate them? Attitude, end result, presentation skills. Please rate them in order of importance. And if you could tell us also, why are you rating them in a way that you are?
See, look, if you look at a short-term performance, for a year or something, the performance, I mean, the end result matters. Okay. Because when you look at your life, you look at two type of, you look at performance and you look at potential. Okay. If you are a high potential person, it cannot come without performance.
Correct.
I mean, you can't continue to be a potential guy, but you are delivering no results. Okay. You can't be that guy who's playing in the Indian team and, oh, he scores in Ranji, he scores in this IPL, for the Indian cricket team is not scoring, but he has got crazy potential one day. The public doesn't have time. So your potential has to come with performance. So in the short run, when you're being assessed, performance or outcomes will always be taken into consideration. But for potential, it's attitude. It's a lot of things which come. It's not only attitude, it's your growth behaviors. Is what I told you, be curious, progress over perfection. Embrace diversity all across you.
I agree, and that should be our attitude. We say, why do you have an attitude? I think we should have an attitude, but the attitude should be this.
Yes.
I'm curious.
Yes.
I'm agile, empowered.
Yes.
I want to be inclusive.
Yes.
This is the attitude.
Exactly. And all that you're saying is currently what we have as our growth behaviors: empowerment, agility, and
our culture code. Right? So, I want to be accountable. I want to collaborate. Conflict management. I think that's the attitude.
Exactly. And don't shy away from it. All you have to do is do it in a humble manner. Okay. But presentation skills, boss, that is an acquired skill. Okay. Don't even think about that. I would rate that last. What is important is your functional skill. for a short-term performance, and your potential, which is your attitude for a long-term across. And what Sasha was talking about, our growth behaviors. Presentation skills come with a period of time. I mean, you don't wake up one day and think that, I'm starting, I have very good. You'll be found out. If you're hollow, you'll be found out. You've got to speak content. Yeah, you can always, if you believe I have the content and I'm not able to speak and this and that, go for personality development classes. There's nothing wrong in that. Let me tell you, when I started my career, I went for public speaking class. Okay, of course, it's a different thing that me with my arrogance thought I was better than the teacher. Okay, but I went for those classes and I realized when I went over there, what an ass I was, that there were so many things I didn't know about public speaking and personality development that person taught me. And I was lucky that someone sent me for those classes, because I thought the person who sent me also was an ass. How can you even recommend me, who's so good, into that class? But the reality of the matter is you can do it. It's an acquired skill. Stand in front of the mirror and speak every day. You will acquire that skill. But these skills of performance and potential.
And the person you are, I think. The attitude also you're taking, I think that's the person.
Be yourself. Be yourself. I mean, don't shy away. You'll get admonished a few times. You'll have 1 or 2 bad years in your career. But be the person you are, but be humble. At the end of the day, take care of people around you.
Humble, respectful, having the right behaviors. Okay, thank you. Any other questions that you might have, please put it up on the chat. Sunil is answering live questions. We've just answered one. Regina, you've asked about work-life balance. I think we've already answered that. How to overcome language barrier at workplace. Okay, we've ended the session, but I think we can take this. Sunil, before we leave.
Look, you've got to adjust, because this is going to come time and again. It's not something that you've got to learn, you've got to pick up, you've got to put in effort. Let me tell you, Presh, who works in my team, okay, she's from the Philippines. The moment she came here, she went for Hindi speaking classes. Okay, she's not going to be here forever in India. No, you don't know how long she's going to be here. But the first thing she did was, she went for Hindi speaking classes, at least to understand a few words here and there. It's proactiveness. It's what you want to do. To overcome the language barrier, you have to start making a fool of yourself. When I started speaking, I made a fool of myself. I used words which were stupid, okay, and which people made fun of, my pronunciations and all that. But that's going to happen. You've got to be proactive and start learning, start taking classes, read. I mean, this is what you do when you're young. And I wouldn't say this for people who are older. I would tell them, you adjust, yaar, nikal de, din nikal de. Yeah, but you are young, so you have to do all this. You have to start adjusting. It's not difficult. These are not rocket science things, okay? And remember, it's not only language what you speak. It's your words, it's your expressions, it's your body,
Language.
okay? And it's you also have written communication. So you have a lot of things going for you. It's not only what you speak as a language. So you can overcome. Do I know Kannada after so many years? I don't know, but I can understand Kannada because I've made an attempt to understand. But of course, I'm in sales, so it's easier. Okay, but if you are not, if you're in a compartmentalized departmental work, you still have the time to go online, see certain words, read them here, there. It's not that difficult. Now, I don't have a structured answer, but it's not so difficult. You can do it.
Thanks, Sunil.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Thank you so much from Next Gen.
Can I just say one more thing? Just in case any of you, and I'm taking the liberty of
Yes,
saying this,
please.
it's very difficult to get my time. I know that. I can be, but if any one of you really need to have a conversation which is where you are being affected, where you believe that, I am passionate about, I don't want to go away from HCCB. I want to be in HCCB. Now, if you decide I want to go, then don't come to me. But if you decide that you have the passion to stay and you really want help, you really want something, a guidance which is much more personal, which cannot be on this chat, do reach out to me. It may take you a few days to get my time and you may get a limited time, but I will make the time, because for me, that's my job. My job is to enable an organization. I can be an individual contributor here and not engage myself, but I want to enable. So if any one of you have that issue, when you're young in your life, look, I counsel a lot of people outside work and they are all from the Gen Z. Okay, I wouldn't mind doing it. I would happily do it because I want to give all the blessings that I've got in my experiences to people. So please do reach out to me. Don't feel shy. You may not get the right timing as per your convenience, but you will get the time. So that's my only last thing I wanted to say.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The stories were extremely engaging, very, very transparent. It came straight from the heart, and it just showed. Thank you so much for being so brutally honest. I hope all the insights that were shared were valuable. At least they were incredibly valuable to me. I hope Sunil answered he did, and I hope it brings you the much needed clarity and the guidance that you were seeking. Thank you everyone for your enthusiastic participation and sending in your great questions. A big shout out to Melvin Tan, who's the sponsor for Next Gen ERG, Sakshi for her support and guidance, and last but not the least to Kunal Tiwari and Simrat Kaur, who have been the creators of Career Cafe. They are the leads of the Next Gen Working Group behind the Career Cafe initiative. So thank you so much everyone. We really hope that you found this session inspiring and insightful like we did. Stay tuned for our next Career Cafe episode, which comes in next quarter. There is a question. Okay, let me finish. Until then, let's strive for excellence. Have a great day. Thank you.